from a snowy commute. Welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show, brought to you by Wiggle.
This week we shamelessly piggyback off the hashtag that's been taking social media by storm, and we look at cycling's 10-year challenge. Where was our sport 10 years ago, and has it changed for the better?
We're also taking a look at our own 10-year challenges, aren't we? And well, they're not pretty, as you might expect. Plus, I'm going to update you on how my Get Fit in 10 Weeks campaign is going.
No more yoga,
No more yoga, but I did do some off-the-bike strength training, which is just as entertaining.
This week in the world of cycling, we learn that once you've won Milan San Remo, the next logical step is to take up roller hockey. Here is recently retired Pippo Pozzato showing his skills with a Z.
Yeah, very logical step indeed. I'd be interested to see how he gets on, actually. We also learned this week that Elia Viviani is not only one of the world's top sprinters, he's also like cycling's Harry Houdini. Here he is fitting through a gap that basically doesn't exist and taking an impressive win on stage 1 of the Tour Down Under.
And finally, we also learned that Dan's maths skills leave a lot to be desired. This is what he posted on Instagram for the 10-year challenge hashtag.
Yes, but that was obviously a joke, Ollie, because as you can all see, that was 20 years ago, not 10. And helmet hair's come quite a long way since those days.
It has, yeah. Anyway, we thought we'd jump on the 10-year challenge bandwagon, why not, and do a 10-year challenge for cycling itself.
We did, and we're going to start with a little quiz. So we've got a few questions coming up to test each other's memories, and you can play along at home as well. I'm going to go with the first question. Who won the Tour, 2009?
Easy. Alberto Contador.
Yeah, it is quite easy, but who came third?
This is a trick question, right? Because on the day, so to speak, when it was over, Lance Armstrong was third, but was later disqualified, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
So
got this.
Wiggins was promoted into third place, who was riding for Garmin Slipstream.
He was, yeah. Good knowledge, mate. Good knowledge.
Right, my turn then. Who was 2009 men's World Road Race champion?
Oh, well, I've got this one pretty easy because I was actually in that race, but not for that long. So I'd gone back to the bus, had a shower and sat down to watch the last part of the race on our team bus, and I know that Cadel Evans won that race, won the first rainbow bands on the road for the men's race for Australia. Moving on, do you know who the top female rider was in the rankings in 2009?
I don't, but I can take an educated guess. Mm-hmm. Because, well, just because she was so dominant at that time, I'd go Marianne Vos.
Yes, spot on again. But do you know who won the Women's Grand Prix Plouay in the same year?
Not a clue.
No, I didn't think you would. It was Emma Pooley. A trick question, basically, Ollie, to get you into some trouble.
Right, my turn then. I'm having another question. Who won the 2009 Junior Men's World Time Trial?
I've got no idea. I'm never going to get that, am I? I've got no idea.
You say that, but I guarantee you've heard of the names. Okay, so it was actually won by Luke Durbridge.
Was it?
Just a few seconds, a couple of seconds ahead of Lawson Craddock. And Pauline Ferrand Prevot, she was second in the women's junior road race, and in the men's race, that was won by Jesper Stuyven ahead of Arnaud Demar.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got any of those. That was quite a year for talent, wasn't it? Back then in the juniors, my goodness. Now I'm going to have one more question, Ollie.
If you must.
Who did I ride for back in 2009? Go on, say it.
The Cervelo testing.
Yes, damn right. I just didn't want to say it myself because people are getting sick of it in the comments, quite understandably. So we should probably move on fairly quickly. So what has changed in the world of cycling over the last 10 years? Well, firstly, the term marginal gains wasn't really being used, was it? Because Team Sky didn't exist.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't exist, but interestingly, they were being formed. This is pretty cool, right? I visited Colnago HQ a few years back, and in Colnago HQ in Milan, they've got this guest book you can sign. And I had a flick through it, and in there were some entries all on the same day, 21st of March 2009, 2009 from Dave Brailsford, Shane Sutton, and Scott Sunderland. And it was interesting because it appears they were looking for a bike sponsor.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Obviously, we know how that worked out. They didn't go with Colnago, and
they were obviously doing a tour of Italy,
yeah,
weren't they? You wonder whether Colnago are kicking themselves now, given how much success Team Sky have had on Pinarello bikes since then. Yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Also, Lance Armstrong made his comeback from retirement that very same year in 2009, and you wonder if he's kicking himself for doing just that, because we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, it's not just riders and racing that's changed though. What about the bikes and equipment and tech? I mean, what were we riding back in 2000? Well, we actually don't. You don't need to say. We all know what make of bike you were riding. Dan, I was actually riding an aluminium Giant.
Were you? I hadn't progressed onto carbon fibre yet.
I hadn't.
Well, Alberto Contador, who won the Tour de France, as we mentioned that very year, was onto carbon fibre, of course, by that point. He won it on a Trek Madon 6 Series bike, complete with SRAM Red 10-speed group set, which was, of course, mechanical. Apparently that bike, though, did weigh in on the UCI limit, just 6.8 kilograms.
Interesting, yeah. Something else interesting is Di2 came out in 2009.
Did it?
Yeah, Dura Ace Di2 7970 is the designation for that one. And it had that, well, in hindsight, quite ugly big external battery that you'd bolt onto your...
Well, to be honest, that wasn't just ugly in hindsight, that was ugly at the time, wasn't it? I wonder actually whether that was why some people were saying that electronic gears were just a gimmick, a bit like Mavic Mectronic, but that's certainly changed, hasn't it?
I think it's safe to say that the i2 is here to stay now.
I think you're going out on a limb there, Ollie, are you?
Yeah. Now, another piece of kit that's changed is that, well, pro bike racers all use carbon wheels now in every race.
They did back then, didn't they?
Well, in 99.9% of races, with one notable exception, a race deemed so brutal on riders and equipment that no one dared use them.
Paris-Roubaix, presumably.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't until 2010 when Fabian Cancellara stormed to victory for the second time using some Zip 303s.
That was the first time they were used. Yeah, apparently Zip had sent in quite a few samples back in 2006, so 4 years previous when he was riding for CSC, for him to test. Some testing which he did over the Paris-Roubaix cobblers, including the infamous and incredibly difficult Arenberg Forest. And rumour has it, he broke every single wheel.
Well, I guess it's just a testament as to how far carbon fibre tech has come, because now, well, the riders wouldn't think of using anything but carbon wheels in Paris-Roubaix.
No, it's amazing how far we've come in that period of time.
But yeah, there's other road bike tech as well that wasn't really around in 2009. You never really saw aero helmets or skin suits being used in road races.
Well, unless you're Rob Hales, who we mentioned a week or two ago. You're getting a lot of mentions. Rob Hales already using skin suits back at that time. But there have been plenty of other change, haven't there? 10 years ago, pedalling on your top tube wasn't a thing, thankfully. Only we could go back to those times, eh? Also, Egan Bernal was just starting high school over in Colombia. Smart trainers were a thing, but they were basically posh sneakers rather than indoor smart home trainers. We had discs, but they were wheels that you used in the velodrome or indeed in a time trial. Bottom brackets worked properly, and also gravel didn't exist.
Well, gravel did exist, it's just gravel riding wasn't a thing yet, despite the fact that people were riding on gravel just on cyclocross bikes and mountain bikes. Basically, I think over the last 10 years, we've come up with a term for riding on gravel.
Yeah, we do well with coming up. I mean, what genius came up with the term gravel riding for riding on gravel? Unbelievable.
I think it might have been Si.
Maybe it was. No, I don't think it was him. He's not that clever. Anyway, one thing that definitely wasn't around 10 years ago was Strava. And hasn't that been a game changer for so many cyclists?
Hang on a minute, right? Whoa. If Strava didn't exist in 2009, how come you've got loads of KOMs from 2009?
Well, Ollie, I think I've said this on the GCN show before, but firstly, I was sad enough to save on my computer all of my GPX files. And then secondly, I was sad enough to retrospectively upload them to Strava once Strava had been invented. So yes, I have plenty of KOMs from before Strava.
That's next level.
It is. Right, we shall finish with that part of the show, but we want to show you what we looked like and what we were doing 10 years ago. Pre-GCN, of course. Won't bother with me because, as you all know, well, you know what I was doing back in 2009, but who we shall start with is Hank. Here he is on a race start line as a teenager, looking moody. Sultry, one of those.
And here's Opie in the Netherlands racing on a pair of Mavic Helios.
Yes, with a power tap rear hub as well. That is a bling ring on his right hand there, isn't it? Must have been weighing them down when he was racing. Then there is Sai. Now, 10 years ago in 2009, Sai was racing for Rafa Condor. And rather interestingly, he was sporting a mullet.
Why is that interesting?
Because mullets had gone out of fashion about 5 years previous to 2009, so goodness only knows why he still had that haircut.
I used to have one as well.
Did you?
But 5 years when it wasn't.
When it was fashionable. Yeah. Anyway, here's another picture. This one is Ollie, graduating from university and obviously preparing for GCN Does Science.
Yeah, putting my qualifications to good use these days.
You have. I thought you might pick out a photo when you were a triathlete, which was in 2009, wasn't it? But he says he can't find one. I'm sure he would bow to some social media pressure on that front. And then finally, of course, not finally actually, but penultimately, we've got Emma Pooley. Here she is in 2009, being successful. Again, some things never change, do they? And then we shall finish with Mr. Tech himself, John Cannings, in 2009, with some tech. Here he is with Tom Bonan's bike, rather admiring it. I think he probably is just there.
I'm just looking at John's trousers. Look at those. Oh man. Anyway, it's time to throw it to you guys. We want to know what the biggest change has been in the last 10 years to your cycling, and what do you think will be the biggest change in the next 10 years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. But forget 10 years. What about 10 weeks? How's your 0 to slightly more than 0 going
Well,
down?
I've gone up a couple of decimal points, I think. Maybe not got to 1 just yet.
Nice.
But you can find out now, Ollie, in my next cycling vlog. Week 2, day 2. I'm back in the office, back at the set. And this session is called The Way Out. 59 minutes long, it's a sweet spot session. They used to be my favourite when I was full-time. I don't think they are anymore. I've got a proper sweat on today. It's like 2 hands pointed directly at me. And my heart rate doesn't seem to have improved in terms of what it is for a certain power versus my first test almost 2 weeks ago. I hope that's not a bad sign. We'll see you soon enough, I guess. It's Saturday. Had a few drinks last night, and I'm now about to do my final Sutherfest session of the week, and it's called The Wretched. And it does look wretched. It's only 47 minutes, but intensity factor 0.99. So basically my normalised power for that duration is going to be right at my FTP on my warm-up at the moment, and a little bit nervous. For my last on-the-bike workout of week 2, The Wretched, I ramped up the intensity against the orders of Neil Henderson and came out with a normalised power of 243 watts for 46 minutes, so just 1 watt under my previous FTP. Neil has said I'm now getting fitter, which is good news, and that I can ramp my FTP up to 255 watts within the software. Along with the bike stuff though, this week I also had to do some strength work off the bike. Coming up now, it's GCN's weekly inspirational photo of the week. Your chance to win one of 3 Wiggle voucher amounts. For third place, you will get £50 of vouchers. For second, you'll get 75. And as you all know by now, if you win and come in first place, you'll get £100 to spend on whatever you want on the Wiggle online shop. 2 ways to enter each week. The first is on Instagram using the hashtag GCN Inspiration. And the second is to use our uploader, a link to which you can find in the description just down below.
So without further ado, in third place this week, it's Matthew Zedigan. That's how you say it.
Matthews. Yeah, fantastic photo there in snow. Doesn't say exactly where he is, but that looks... I know it's past Christmassy now,
it's
but
Narnia, that
looks very Christmassy, doesn't it? And it's an amazing photo.
Yeah, it's stunning. Stunning.
Not
nice
gravel
bike
riding,
as well.
it's snow riding. Just invented a new term there. Well done, £50 on its way to you. Get in touch with us for that. In second place, we have Ruben on his Giant over in Christchurch in New Zealand. And how I'm pining after some warm weather like you look like you're experiencing over there at the moment, Ruben.
I want to be there. That was amazing. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's inspiring me to ride.
It's inspiring me to
Suffering
go
on my
to,
indoor trainer.
I want to go to New Zealand. And in first place this week, winning £100, is Dr. Oliver B.
in the Lake District. No, it's not Dr. Oliver B, obviously. It's a nice photo, Ollie, but you're obviously not eligible to win £100. So
why not?
You're just not.
That's
you
a
work
great
here,
photo.
dipstick. I used the word twonk a couple of weeks ago, but I think I'm going to use it again now. Actually winning £100 this week is Alan in South Gloucestershire. This is a fantastic sunrise shot close to the Severn beach. Well done to you, Alan. We'll get £100 over to you as soon as possible.
I feel like Lance in 2009.
Cheated?
Being beaten by Wiggins.
Well, you like Lance because you're sort of cheating, aren't you? Trying to get onto first place and wiggle inspiration.
To be fair, that is a banging cobweb.
It is, yeah, and a banging sunrise, as I just mentioned. So anyway, make sure you enter your photos for next week and we'll pick out our 3 favourite.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
We shall begin cycling shorts with some non-cycling pants. It's probably no coincidence this, Dan, right? But since you were filmed doing some yoga in some completely inappropriate attire, Nike has actually brought out its first men's specific yoga clothing range.
Yeah, they have. I'm open to all endorsements, of course, although I'm not sure I'm going to look much better with some tight-fitting yoga clothing, if I'm honest. In fact, I'd probably look worse doing my twerking then, wouldn't I? We're going to go on to some racing news fairly quickly after that yoga news. I mentioned this in the racing news show yesterday, but I wanted to do it again here on the GCN show and say a huge congratulations to Matt Hayman on his career. Sunday, at the end of the Tour Down Under, also marked the end of his lengthy career, where not only was he very successful from a results point of view, but he also, I think, managed to earn the respect of every single rider within the peloton, which takes some doing, doesn't it? His biggest result, of course, was that 2016 Paris-Roubaix win.
Yeah, I was covering the 2016 Paris-Roubaix and was actually in the velodrome at the end of the race.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere was, well, it's absolutely incredible. But and it's without doubt the most inspirational finish to a bike race I've ever borne witness to. But the way he fought back, having got dropped, and was able to take it right down to the wire and beat Bonan, it was like something from a movie.
It was. It was
just such an underdog story.
I felt sorry for Bonan, but I also was ecstatic for Matt Hayman.
Yeah,
he really
incredible.
deserved that. And of course, his story was made even more famous by the fact that he had some hampered preparation because he'd broken his arm, I think, back in February at Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. So most of his preparation was done using Zwift, obviously on an indoor trainer, which is a nice segue, in fact, into our next topic, which is that of the Zwift KISS Super League. Now, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago here on the GCN show, but the first event of 10 is actually tomorrow, if you're watching this on Tuesday, and you're heading there, Ollie.
I am indeed. It's in the Pinarello store in London, and it's going to be the first of a 10-race series where pro teams take part, and the best 8 results of that 10-race series count towards your overall finish in the series.
They do, yeah.
I'm excited to go and see what's going on.
I'm excited to see it as well. Now, to make sure that things are fair, they've got a few rules and regulations in place for the pro riders, haven't they?
do, yeah. So there's going to be weigh-ins, mandatory weigh-ins at the start, where the riders have to, step on a scale.
I really hope they do it in pairs, like as boxers, where they intimidate each other and put their heads together and stuff.
It'd be a bit awkward though if it's like Connor Dunn and
yes,
Samuel
it would be, yeah.
down
That wouldn't work then, would it? Yeah. But along with the weight-in, there's also a height-in, speaking of those two, to make sure that the aerodynamic properties are correct on the e-gaming.
Yeah.
Then they're also going to ensure that they all use the exact same indoor calibrated trainer to ensure that the power numbers are right. And they've also got to use heart rate monitor straps.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because in actually some racing with all the power meter data and stuff and heart rate, that'd be really cool to see. But I'm excited because I'm going to go down, check it out, and I'll report back for next week's show.
Yeah, if you're interested, come back to the GCN show next week for Ollie's vlog. Now, moving on, the next subject we're going to talk about is Everesting. Because I had a little bit of a fright this morning, Ollie. I was tagged in on Instagram by Ben Miller, and he had a picture of himself next to the old Bristol Road sign, and it said, "I did it." And I was thinking, oh my God, he's taken my Strava KOM up there, which was from when Strava had been invented back in 2011. But thankfully, all he did was Everesting up it.
Yeah, all he did was everything's bloody hard, mate.
Well, it looked bloody hard when you did it, I have to say. No, I'm joking, of course. I realised how hard it was, particularly seeing your stats and also Ben's, because they are, well, my eyes are watering looking at them. So he had a normalised power of 235 watts for 13 hours. And you will have seen in my vlog that I had a normalised power of 243 watts for 45 minutes. And I was blooming pleased with myself. He did 268.9 kilometres in that time. And of course, close to 10,000 metres elevation gain. And in the process, raised a whole heap of money for charity. So very impressive indeed. Well done, Ben.
Yeah, fair play. Mine was 15 hours and 320 kilometres.
That was long, yeah, we chose the wrong climb, obviously.
Clearly, yeah. We'll move on now to the latest in the ongoing Richard Freeman case. The former Team Sky and British Cycling doctor is charged with an allegation that he deliberately ordered testosterone to enhance the performance of an athlete.
And further to that, there are also allegations that he subsequently lied in order to cover up the real reason behind ordering that testosterone, which is of course a banned substance, in that he wrote an email to the company that provided the testosterone, asking them to send an email to say that it was sent by mistake.
Yeah, the order, well, the delivery of the testosterone was revealed by the Sunday Times in March 2017. And you may remember that Richard Freeman was the doctor at the centre of the Wiggins Jiffy Bag saga too. Now, I should point out that Freeman denies any wrongdoing at this stage, and the tribunal is set to take place on the 6th of February.
And I believe we get the results of that hearing about a month after it's finished, so stay tuned for that. And now it's fair to say that cycling cops a lot of flack when it comes to doping, probably quite fairly given the history of the sport. However, some recent statistics and data that have been published by the MPCC actually put cycling in quite a good light when it's compared to other sports.
The data, well, it suggests that cycling's reputation might not be as deserved as some people might think. There were 12 other sports that had more incidents of doping in 2018, including, but not limited to, football, well, soccer, rugby, boxing, American football and baseball.
Well, I think it is deserved given our history, but it does appear that we've cleaned up our act, because in 2018 there were 17 doping violations in cycling, and compared that to athletics, doesn't seem like too much because they had 98.
Well, you can compare it to equestrian as well. There were 41 cases there,
Yeah.
although it's not clear whether or not that was the horses or the jockeys.
Yeah, because it could have been either, couldn't it? Yeah. If you want to know how those 17 cases were broken down within the sport of cycling, there are actually only 2 with World Tour riders, 4 with Pro Continental teams and 4 with riders in Continental teams. There's 1 on the track, 1 on BMX and 4 in mountain biking. And out of the 17, 15 were blokes and just 2 were female riders.
Well, if anything, it certainly looks like it's improving and it's a positive sign for the future. Wonder where it'll be in 10 years' time. But more cycling shorts next week.
And hopefully some Nike yoga pants if I play my cards right.
Or not. Quick plug now. We still have our January sale on in the GCN shop. So head over to shop.globalcyclingnetwork if you want to grab a bargain.
Yeah, before all the sale items run out. Also on sale at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com, but not in the sale, is our brand new range of Keep Cups. Because obviously one thing that has changed significantly in the last 10 years, or just the last few years, is that they were now far more concerned, thankfully, about the use of single-use plastic. In fact, there's a couple of coffee shops near here that don't do takeaway cups anymore, so I'm going to be going in with this. Available in 2 sizes, so we have this, which is the 12-ounce one. Ollie, you've got the 8-ounce one, get that out for us.
Yeah, mine is a bit smaller than yours, Dan.
But full of coffee. I think they're rather neat. Yeah, shop.globalcyclingnetwork. We'll link to that in the description below and also at the end of this video. We've also got a new hashtag, GCN Kit, which basically does what it says on the tin. There's quite a few pictures of you in your kit already on that on Instagram, but if you'd like to add your photos of you in your GCN kit, then you know what to do.
Guys, so sorry we couldn't be with you in the studio today, but unfortunately someone did have to come out to Spain and ride their bikes.
Yeah, and I guess we pulled the short straw. We'll take one for the team, won't we, mate?
Yeah, we will. We're not alone actually out here. Direct Energy are just down there. Groupama, FDJ are just there. EF Education First are loitering around. They're of course training. We are here to make some videos, including a feature that we don't really want to talk about because we're both kind of still trying to find a way out.
No, I am truly, truly terrified. This is, yes, scary, this one.
It is really scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, watch this space. We inevitably probably will end up doing it this week. Now, whilst we're stood by a beach in the sunshine, we thought we would give a very quick shout out to the GCN Mallorca camp, which is coming up at the end of March. Basically an opportunity for you guys to come and experience this and also join us as well for some amazing riding in probably one of the best places in the world to ride a bike.
Yeah, but Si, who'd want to ride with us?
Well, that is a good point.
Yeah.
There is loads of cool stuff also going on in the afternoons and the evenings, including Lloydie's pub quiz, which I'm particularly excited about, as well as a live GCN show, which I don't know which one I'm more terrified about, that or the feature that we're filming this week.
Feature.
Yeah, anyway, for more information, check out the link in the description to take you through to the website.
Yeah, so we hope to see you there in March. Right, I reckon it's time to get riding, shall we?
Yeah, back to you guys in the studio.
See you guys later.
It's now time for hack/bodge.
It is indeed, and we're going to start with this from Essa over in Alberta. We were out for a summer camping vacation when we came across these beautiful homemade hacks for bike racks. First up, this on the back of a pickup truck. Can't decide if that's some sort of radiator or just some piping there, but it seems to do the job well. That said, I'm going to call that a bodge.
I'm with you on that one.
Cheap though, which I'm all about, as anyone here that works at GCN will know. The other one, we see that outside cafes, etc. quite a lot, don't you? But I've always wanted one of those at home, perhaps in the garage.
I think that's a good use, reclaiming an old log that would otherwise not really do much. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a hack.
Yeah.
Those logs.
We don't want to have single-use logs anywhere around here, do we?
Yeah. Next up, we've got Martin, and he has done, well, I think this is really cool. He's got a Bluetooth keyboard for when he's playing Zwift, but to have it in the right position, he's put a little Garmin mount on the underside of it in a really neat way so that it just slots on, so it's right there, so he can message people when he's on Zwift.
Has he still got room to go on the tops?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I'm going to say that's a hack then.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good. Next up from David, it's a chair and table. After suffering a mechanical and going to the closed bike shop, the owner told me to take a seat, and I was not expecting to see this kind of seat. How cool is that? I also want one of those for my house, to be quite frank. A chair and table made out of bike wheels. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I wouldn't want it in my house, but I think in a bike shop, that's awesome. That's cool. Next up, well, it's a hack for me.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
just the
checking.
fact that you were dissing my taste of furniture for my house.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on.
Next up, we've got JP Bratt, and this is in Texas, and he's got a beam suspension on the back of his bike, well, to compensate for the lack of tyres.
There's a lot going on with that bike, isn't there?
bike.
You know, 2 different sized wheels, no tyres, but beam suspension, so we're all good.
And a
bodge.
basket as well. Yeah, it's a bodge.
Next up, Danny4.8 over on Instagram saw our hack last week of the deep section wheels made from snow. Says, you call those deep section wheels? There's the real deal.
Well, they're disc wheels,
discs,
aren't they?
Yeah.
He's doing a time trial.
He's discs with discs there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be hard going riding with a bike like that.
And ZRS Gamboa, I think that's how you pronounce it, has got their Project Alley, and they've metal brushed the frame. So it looks like they've taken the paint off, their aluminium alley, and it's just a very nice finish. I've never seen a finish like that before.
No, it looks, it's custom and it looks very good too, so that's got to be a hack.
That is the definite hack.
And we'll finish with this from Adam Titley, who basically, his son was told to keep his hands elevated after he broke both wrists whilst out on his mountain bike. And so what he's done is he's basically elevated his son's arms using a Park Tool bike stand. I have to say, get well soon too, because that looks particularly painful and really awkward not to be able to use your hands for anything. So is that a hack or a bodge?
It's a bodge, but get well soon.
He doesn't have to transport that up to his bedroom when he's sleeping at night.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Or when he goes to the toilet.
Get well soon. If you'd like to get involved in our hacks and bodges section, you know the drill, but I'll remind you anyway. It's hashtag GCN Hack on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or once again, you can use the uploader, and you'll find a link to that in the description below. It's that part of the show where you get your chance to win a GCN Camelback water bottle. It is, of course, caption competition time. Last week's photo was this one of Yevgeny Gidic of Team Astana with a koala bear. Get onto that in a little while. But our winner of the GCN Camelback water bottle this week is Tyler Apino. Does he have the qualifications to rap? There were quite a few along those lines, as we expected.
That is a quality caption.
Oh man, not you too. Get in touch with us, Tyler, and we'll get the bottles sent out to you. Also, thanks to everybody who pointed out to me that koalas are not bears, they are marsupials. But that would have ruined my joke, wouldn't it? So anyway, this week we have got a photo again from the Tour Down Under. This is Heinrich Hausler doing some stretching, and Ollie's going to get you started this week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, I've got a good one.
Go on.
I've got a good one. That's not how you use a footrest, mate.
Very good, Ollie, accent, and very good caption too. But you can probably do better than that.
No, they can't.
I'm going to guess.
I mean, don't give them false hope.
Well, they're unable to do accents whilst they're writing in the comments, well, unless they're very clever. You can give it a go. Give us your comments, captions in the comment section just down below. Got there in the end.
Comment of the week now. Underneath Hank's Meet the Presenter video, we had this comment from Brenda Vane saying, "Good story. Also making GCN hip doing Red Hook. Keep it up."
Yeah, almost. He was making GCN look hip, which is
Yeah.
sort of one of those, well, almost a compliment, but a bit of an insult at the same time, really.
Yeah, backhanded, yeah.
Next up, showing actually how far GCN has come along in the past few years. This was underneath Si's look into how toxic city cycling is that came out at the weekend. From Paul Stevens, proper grown-up journalism. And I think that actually is a proper compliment to Si. And he did do well with that video. So if you haven't already,
thumbs up.
it has, yeah. If you haven't already checked it out, make sure you do so after the show.
And underneath last week's show, Benjamin Zakwaja, I hope I've pronounced that
I don't think you have, but that'll do.
Dan's calves in combination with those shoes while trying to jump. Oh my word. I have to clean my screen from mineral water I was drinking. Bleeping brilliant. And the women's trek kit, thumbs up.
I mean, do you know what? Even though I know, obviously, I've got no calf muscle to speak of, I actually looked at that part of the video myself and thought, that's embarrassing. It's like 2 twigs coming out of some shorts with some big trainers on at the end. What I need is some Nike yoga pants, if I'm perfectly honest, just to cover those little legs up. Anyway, coming up on the channel this week, on Wednesday we have got 3 killer training sessions to help you drop your mates when you're going up climbs. Thursday we've got our top 10 hardest mountains in the world, and then on Friday it's Ask GCN Anything, which this week will be with me and Chris.
On Saturday we've got our next Meet the Presenter video, which is going to be OP. And then on Sunday, we're going to do road pedals versus mountain bike pedals. Me and you are doing that one.
We are. Yeah, do we really need to use road-specific pedals? We're going to find out.
Yeah, and have a running race.
We are.
On Monday, the Racing News Show. And then on Tuesday, back again for the next GCN show.
I might put our running race on the Racing News Show next week. We shall finish the show as ever with Extreme Corner. And we've got a new, as yet unofficial, but potentially a new Guinness World Record. This is Enzo Komatz, who recently rode 140 kilometres no-handed in the snow over the course of 5 hours and 40 minutes. Bonkers.
Absolutely, man. Well, had to deal with extreme cold by the looks of things as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of the saddle sores, Ollie. If you can't get out of the saddle and you're doing 5 hours and 40 minutes, whoa.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be tough.
I mean, initially I thought, surely someone else has done further, but you wouldn't want to. Maybe somebody out there will try and beat Enzo now.
Well, James Lousley Williams, next presenter challenge.
Yeah, Hank, we got a challenge for you. Anyway, that's all for this week's show. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up down below. And if you haven't yet seen Si's video from the weekend about how toxic is cycling in the city on your commute, you can find that just down here.